Hey guys, so I wanted to tell you that I know a lot of you, I'm always talking about the nervous system. So, the nervous system, in case you're wondering, it is like in our bodies, it's like a messenger network. It is the electricity, the communication. It is almost like the 911 dispatcher when you're in trouble. It's all of that. Like, think about tonight, for instance, the Dallas Cowboys. My goodness, they really get my nervous system going. Like, I am serious. When you are aware, you may have labored breathing, you may even hold your breath, you may even like breathe quicker or slower. Some people will like I sometimes like hold my breath when I'm scared, and people have to tell you like remember to breathe, you know. I love the nervous system because to me it's like my favorite archangel, Gabriel. He is my favorite archangel because he is the messenger archangel. He's the one that is about communication, and I just love Gabriel. I really do. He's the one that said Jesus is coming. The angel that said to follow the North Star. And you'll find Jesus there in the manger. Well, I don't know if he said in the manger. I mean, I don't know word for word the wording he said. But so Gabriel is messenger. And our nervous system is a lot like that. It alerts us. Maybe it'll make our heart start beating very fast. And, you know, all those things, like maybe get sweaty and clammy, our hands. And it just, you know, it affects us. It affects all of us in different ways. So when tonight, the Cowboys, yay, they won. But sometimes, like, it's such a toxic relationship. Like I told Rico, I said, you know, I love them even though they hurt me so much, you know? But, you know, they really affect my nervous system. Okay, now, talking about the nervous system because we got the Knight of Swords reversed today. Look at this card. Now, remember what I told you about swords. Anytime you get a card, I'm going to put it upright for a minute so you can see. Anytime you get a card with swords, it's about truth and it's about clarity. So it's good. We want to know the truth, right? We want things to be clear. We want to know what to expect and what not to expect, that kind of thing. That's where it goes into your nervous system because I do not know what to expect with these Cowboys. I mean, sometimes they are just the greatest, and then with the teams that are like the slowest or the worst, they're not. Sorry, I got interrupted. Rico's bringing me dinner. He's so sweet. Look what he made. Chicken and waffles, sweet potato fries, and marshmallow fluff. Oh my gosh. Delicious. So as I was saying about the Cowboys, that, you know, they really do affect my nervous system. I mean, I can feel my blood pressure. Like I think I have high blood pressure because of the Cowboys. So anyways, you know, this swords is about truth. It's about clarity. When we don't know the truth and things are not clear, things look kind of weird. Okay? Whenever there is, like, this is going to be the shadow side of the Knight of Swords because it was reversed. Therefore, this is now, see those clouds? He is going pretty fast. You can tell by the clouds. I mean, he's like swooshing by them, and the horse is running. You can tell, like, fast. Okay, when it's reversed, it's telling you slow down. You're going way too fast for whatever it is you're going fast with. Now, these are timeless. So that means that when you see this message, that is the day you're supposed to see it. It doesn't have to be today, Sunday, but if you see it today, you're supposed to hear it today. Now, I don't know if this has to do with your career, your relationship, your love life. I'm not sure what it has to do with, but I do know that it is telling you to slow down. Now, this card also is one of those cards where you answer or respond to somebody in an emotional level. Now, what I'm saying, sorry, I'm trying to eat and talk at the same time. What I'm saying is, I'm going to give you an example. Last month, maybe, not too long ago, I got a text from somebody, a message. And let me just say this, that, we have these preconceived notions about people that we think that they are just a certain way. Maybe we think they are just so good and so thoughtful, so holy, so respectful, all of a sudden, they show you a different side you've never seen before. And then you realize, I don't want to say you realize that you put somebody up on a pedestal that didn't belong there, but you see a different side of them where you actually see them differently. You lose respect for them, And maybe I have done that to people. Maybe I have come at somebody and made a decision and, they just think I am just awful, I think that when people are traumatized, they can come after you through the emotions that are not related to anything but their own self. And this person did have some trauma, and they have not dealt with it, obviously. And they came to me with a bunch of emotion that was not right. It wasn't correct, and it wasn't served correctly. So I think it's really important that when we make a decision or we are scared of something, that we just take a pause for a minute before we react. Because our words can be extremely mean, cold-hearted. There's some times where I'm on social media and I am just reading something I do not agree with, or I think is just terrible, and I am just like, what did they say? And scroll up and what did they say about that? And scroll down and, and then I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, number one, before you press go or send or okay or whatever it is you're going to press, you have to say to yourself, number one, okay, if I'm writing this from emotion, I'm coming from a place maybe that isn't a good place, because my emotions I'm allowing them to run me instead of me run my emotions. So you have to really think to yourself, what you're trying to say, what the reason is that you're trying to respond at all. I think a lot of people nowadays respond to people and they listen to people not at all. They don't listen to what people are saying or their argument. I think the whole time people are saying what they want to say, they're just thinking of the rebuttal. How am I going to rebuttal this? What's going to be my answer on how I can change this person's mind? You know, and sometimes it's really not about changing anybody else's mind. It's about allowing people to believe what they want to believe, and at the same time, you know, you believing what you need to believe. You know, like those what are they called? Those fun houses where they have those mirrors and they look like you look in them and you look weird, you know, like you look like you're like all weird looking, and then you go to another mirror and you look completely different, and you look tall or you look really short or whatever. Think about that, and think about people seeing things through their own view, and no matter what you tell them how your mirror looks, they're gonna see what they see. So is it worth the argument? Is it worth trying to tell them that they need to see what you're seeing? It's really not sometimes, you know? And I think that if more people realize that, you know, that it's okay for people to be different, I think the world would be, honestly, it'd be a better place. And people would stop fighting and arguing and stuff like that. So this is a good card to, not only is the message being delivered like wrong because it's not thought out. Hold on, let me see what this message is real quick. Sorry, those are my kids. Oh, I just love them. They make me laugh. But as I was saying, that we need to be careful with how we answer other people. And I'm not saying because, you know, we should care or anything, but how do we portray ourselves to the world? How do we want people to remember us? And maybe you don't care how people remember you, you know, but everybody that I meet, I want them to have a good taste in their mouth after they met me. I would hate for people to meet me and ever say to themselves that they didn't remember me, or they didn't like me, or I didn't make a difference in their life, you know? And maybe not everybody feels like that, but I do. And I feel like I want people to think about me and think about that I left them feeling better about themselves, and that I listened to them, even if I didn't even maybe agree with them with what their beliefs are. But I want them to know that I believe that they're okay for believing that, and that's okay. And, you know, they can talk to me anytime, and I will always be here. I'm that kind of person. And so this kind of person is somebody who is like, oh, this is what I believe. This is the way it is. And you need to see it this way. And that's it. Or freak out. Who do you know that's like that? Are you dealing with somebody like that in your life? Is it you? Are you like that? So how you give your messages to the world is extremely important. It is. I mean, that's really all we have, right? Is our message sometimes. So this is telling you, slow down, think about where this is coming from, think about the motive that you have, why you're typing whatever you're typing, why you're sending off what you're sending off, what energy you're giving to somebody else. What is your motives behind that? Is it to be a loving person, or is it to try to control somebody? So the Knight of Swords is, you know, he ain't that king, because the king of the kingdom is somebody who actually, you know, they're very wise. And, you know, I'm not going to talk about, because then I'm going to be talking about the King of Swords. But the Knight of Swords, the knights are actually the logistic fighters, you know, the ones who do the work. So this is somebody who actually is doing the work. You know, they're doing some type of work. So The shadow of it, as I said, is about maybe not making the right decisions and giving the message the right way because it's coming from an emotional place. Or maybe you feel like you need to hurry up because you have no patience, because you're just tired of waiting for something, and you feel like it's your time. And so, you know how people say you got to trust the timing. Things are going to come when it's your time. That's another thing about this card. Okay, the other thing about this card is somebody who, like, I don't want to say like feels like they have to hurry up and make a choice or get into a relationship, or just something that they have to feel like they have to do it very fast. This is the card saying stop feeling like that. You do not have to make a decision right now. Wait a while. The other thing is that this card is also for somebody who is trying to fight somebody else's battle. So I don't know if you or somebody in your life is inserting themselves into something that they have nothing to do with. So for instance, some people have, I guess, some people have a path that they're going down, and along the way there's lessons to learn. And sometimes when the lesson is not over, or we haven't completely learned the lesson, we can pivot back to like a person that was supposed to teach us that lesson, because we need to figure out what went wrong, whatever. There's some type of closure that hasn't happened yet. So we pivot back to that to get that. And then once we figure it out, then we go and we continue on our path. So sometimes people need that with somebody else. They need to, like, I don't want to say, they need that only one person has the answer to that, but maybe somewhere inside these people, they need some type of closure, or they need to figure something out. And then here comes somebody else, and they're just like, trying to get into the business of that situation and trying to insert themselves. Maybe whoever, there's a million reasons why, but sometimes that is not allowing those people to, like, learn. And so it's like making it your business when it's not your business, and it's not your place to insert yourself. That's what this card also comes up when it's reversed. I don't know if a lot of you have heard, but people assume things, and they will say like, oh no, I have to stop this. I have to make sure to, make a detour or get involved. And because they're assuming that whatever it is they're assuming. And this card is a reminder that assumptions, if you spell it, ass, they do make an ass out of you and me. They make an ass of us. So it's not good to assume things at all. And if you really want to know the truth, you ask the people involved. Don't ask one person, or you're going to get half of the truth. You ask what's going on. If you think it's your business and you want to know, or you want to make a difference or whatever, maybe it's not your business though, but if you do, you cannot assume. This is a card that is that person making an ass out of themselves, and we don't want to do that. So anytime that we feel like we know, sometimes we don't know, sometimes we need to ask, and it's okay. And if they don't want to tell us, if we want to know something and somebody doesn't want to tell us, then maybe it's not our thing, to have to worry about. So this is a card where, you're kind of like, I don't want to say a busybody, but you're making somebody's business your business, and it shouldn't be your business. So that's another thing this card's about. I think when you assume, sometimes you get some stuff wrong, and then not only do you get stuff wrong, but you can cause a lot of damage to some people that, you know, maybe they don't need more damage. You know, some people don't need, most people don't need more damage. We don't. We need like understanding. We need patience. We need people to be on our side. And when we assume things, you know, we are damaging others. And then not only that, but we actually create problems that are bigger than the problem maybe they were trying to fix. So it also, it just creates huge problems to assume things, you know. And sometimes, especially as older people, you know, we've been through things and we think we're wiser and we think that we know better, you know. And you know, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't know better. And the best thing to do is to ask. Clarity saves connections. It does. This is a fast mouth. It's a mess. It's a mess. Somebody who's just, you know what I mean? So, I don't know if you know this person, if you're dealing with this person, or if you are this person. But when we assume, we actually have wrong information most of the time. We really do. So that's what creates the mess. So that's what the Knight of Swords is about. And I do have to say that I do assume a lot about the Cowboys, that they're not going to win, because I feel like my heart's been completely broken by them. So I assume it, I guess, to protect myself. But when they win, I'm so happy, you know? But when they lose, I feel like, well, I was expecting it. So it's like no expectations, or no high expectations, you know? It's a little toxic relationship, like I said in the beginning.